Hi everybody, this is Rose of Sharon, and I'm back again with another book review. I just read the 5th book in the Odd Thomas. I guess you could say it is an octuplet. And in this particular annal, Odd is dealing with visions that he's seen of a woman in a long dress riding on a white horse. And if you know anything about white horses in general, when they're used in symbolism, they depict death. And she is the pale rider. And he's also been having a nightmare about being in Auschwitz and dying twice. He already died, and then he's dying yet again. And he mentions that for the Nazi doing this to the ethnic groups that they reviled, they didn't want to just destroy them once. They wanted to utterly just eviscerate them of anything, any identity, whatever they could just rip from their cold dead bodies. And that actually struck with me. It stuck with me quite a bit. And when I'm reading things, I thought, gosh, that is just so true of the Nazis' actual agenda. It's sad that he would have to have that kind of a nightmare, but it's crucial to plot, and I'm not going to say why, but if you've been reading up to this point, you think, geez, Odd, you've been through hell, quite literally. I mean, Stormy's gone. Sorry, spoiler alert. Stormy's been gone for a while. We learned that Stormy died very tragically, and it's ironic because her mother, Cassiopeia, died. And there's a Mississippi within the series itself of Stormy's mother and the constellation she was named after. And of course, Odd says, well, there's no constellation named after Bronwyn or Stormy. And she's known as Stormy because actually Bronwyn is a Norse goddess of storms. So yeah, it would make sense that she would be called Stormy as a nickname. And I thought, well, that's very clever that he knows Norse mythology well enough to actually develop a character based off of that. And in this book, we're introduced to Anne Marie. And Anne Marie is a very interesting character. She's equal or above the intellect that Odd already is. Odd is, he's an old soul. And he loves quoting Shakespeare, and he's very well read, even though he used to be a fry cook. But he is very gifted, and his, I guess you could say, clairvoyance. So he doesn't have clairaudience. He can't hear the spirits that are coming to him. Like with Elvis, he can just speak to him non-verbally, and he helps Elvis move on and find the other side. And in this case, he has mobsters that are surrounding him, and also Frank Sinatra, fittingly enough, given the setting. And it's a very interesting part of the octuplet. And it just keeps getting better and better. And I was sad when I finished it because I thought, oh no, I don't have that very many books left, and I have so many books that I'm reading right now. But I'm glad that the gardener suggested I should read the whole thing, and now I can see why he did, because I just read Saint Odd, which is the final book in the octuplet, and I thought I got the gist of what was happening, but now I understand just how harrowing of a journey Odd goes through, and how he rectifies everything in his head, and how he puts forth his brand of justice in the world, because unfortunately he has to defend himself quite a few times in this particular book. And Interlude actually talks a little bit about that too. I just started reading Interlude, and Interlude was a story, or Odd Interlude was a book that wasn't published initially, and then it was put into print, and it's just considered a special adventure with him and Anne Marie. But I haven't read the whole thing yet. It's very short, so count on me doing a review of it in the near future. The book was exceptional. I just loved every bit of it. It was just so delicious and decadent for me to devour, because being a voracious reader, it actually helps me write a lot better, especially if I'm working on something paranormal, which is actually more often than not. And having connections with the paranormal, I think, yeah, this stuff is accurate. This stuff actually happens. So the way that Koons actually writes, it's very, very authentic. I'm not really sure what else to say about Odd Apocalypse. Oh, excuse me. I really enjoyed the book. As in everything else that Dan has written, it is absolutely stellar. And he does everything well. I think actually that his earlier works are probably some of his better works, and I think Odd Thomas is actually among a lot of those novels, but a lot of people don't really know about Odd Thomas or are unfamiliar with Odd Thomas, and it's sad because it was a movie. And honestly, I love the film. I thought that it was true to form. I thought that it was authentic in following the book and just encapsulating everything that we love about Odd. Putting them forward in a more digestible way. But for people like myself who have very creative imagination, we see with our mind's eye, and we can just map everything out very clearly. I mean, that's the way my mind works. When I'm actually writing something, I can see it happening, and it's just incredible. I thought, whoa. I do think like a director. What else? Oh, yeah. Speaking of things that are going to happen, I am going to be moving. I hope I can find a house. I don't really care for the apartment. I've been in the apartment too long, and it's not for me, and especially not for my dog, because he doesn't have any room to run. And I just feel like a terrible pet parent and having him confined to such a tiny space. I'm actually hoping to acquisition an Akita and give him to a good home, and I hate doing that, but he's just too much for me to handle, and I'm going to get a puppy, so that's actually more for me to handle being at work all the time. But I'm going to teach him everything I know, and hopefully he will prove to be a lot more obedient and less willful than Griffin is. And of course, my Calico is going to be living under the same roof with another cat. He's much older than she is. Peanut's about 15 now. He's getting to be an old man. He's got a few more good years left in him, I think. I'm not sure how Baby, my friend's cat, is going to react to Peanut, honestly. She's very solitary. She doesn't like other cats, and she's snooty, and she's also a diva, and she can be very selfish. And her modus operandi surrounds her, but haven't crossed this bridge yet, so it remains to be seen, and I will keep you informed on all that. I'm writing quite a few things. I can't name one off the top of my head right away, but the days that are following, I'm hoping I can get my illustrations up and running and some more stories published on Kindle. I'm hoping to do streaming. I'm hoping to do my audio work. I'm hoping to do animation. I've got a lot of things written down in another journal that are things I want to animate. It's going to take me a long time, but it'll be worth it when everything is said and done. I like my job, but I'm going to leave the job as soon as I'm able to find a house and settle down in it. My ultimate goal for this new year is to find my red thread, or my red thread to find me, and start a family. And there are many people who say, well, Rose, you're way too old to do that. And honestly, I don't think that. I've been praying about this for 20 years, and I know that the Lord Almighty has a plan for me. It's just things have been kind of rough in that area, and it's more about, well, I had to make sure that my parents were well taken care of, and I didn't want them to be taken into an institution and locked away somewhere. But unfortunately, my mother had to when she had uterine cancer. She was put into a nursing home, which I hate nursing homes, but honestly, hospice care for my mom was the best thing that she could have ever had. And she lived out the remainder of her life, I think, relatively painlessly with the morphine drip, and I highly support that as death with dignity. I'm fully behind the Death with Dignity Act. Dad, his care in hospice at home was lacking. My mother had everything. She couldn't have had a better team. Now, my dad, the only two people on the team that were worth a darn were the social worker and the chaplain. And the nurse that we had, who was on somewhat or sort of on call, she really didn't care, honestly. She just never should have gotten into the profession of nursing. She was terrible. But I really don't want to give you my whole sob story right now. Just with everything that has happened, including COVID, or C-19, I should say. It's been challenging to actually go out and find people and not have to deal with scammers all the time. I'm not really sure what else to say, but I will keep you informed on anything else that happens. I am hoping that I can travel with my friend. Of course, I'm able to go on trips with him and enjoy wildlife photography, since he has a new lens for his newfangled camera. So hopefully we will be using the new camera to do my other projects here on the station. But keep your eyes open. I will continue to keep you informed. So until we see each other again, live long, prosper. Ciao, Tootsie.